turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back to the show, guys. We are here for another edition of Guest Speaker Quarantine Series, and we are sitting down today with our very special guest, Heath240. How are you, sir?
I am very, very good, man. I'm just living life, man. How about yourself?
I am doing great. We just had a nice off-air conversation. I had to stop it, bro. I was like, you know what? We got to press the record button on this one. So, yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man. I'm really, really appreciative of you being here and taking the time. And I want to say congratulations on two things. You just graduated college, you were telling me. So from Northeastern, congratulations. College.
Yes, thank you.
And also you just got 40,000 streams on Attention, your new single, which is, I know it's definitely an accomplishment and a good one. And I want to talk about that song absolutely down the line, but I want to backtrack just a little bit and talk about your first project that you dropped a while ago, the Hometown Hero. That was a 2019 album, correct?
Yeah, September 2019.
So I just got through that before we got on here, and one, I'm very impressed with it, that I want to just say, and I do like it. I know you're a little bit critical of it, but one of the things I loved was how much you rep Boston, or like how you wanted to put that Boston feeling on it. And I loved that. I loved how so was that you at the end of each song walking up to somebody asking them what does Boston mean to you? Because I thought that was, I heard it the very first time on the first song. Although I think was it you talking to somebody else about the Boston music scene, and you were just, and all she said was like, okay.
Like those were so so the idea was like just that, like, because the Hometown Hero, I just want to make it really feel like you're like what are people's takes on it? Because everybody's different take of why, like how it is here. So I just went up to like some random people, mostly my friends and like my mom, and but like we just kind of went up to them just to ask and see what they say, and like it was all one take. There was no script. I didn't even ask them I was doing it. I just came up with my phone, my voice memo on my phone. I was like, so what's Boston to you? And like first thing off the top of my mind, because like you can hear on one of the songs, I don't need that. My friend Luke goes, oh, what's Boston to you? Oh, Heath240 is a pussy. And I'm like, oh, okay, like fine. That's in there. That's good. And like I happened to see like kind of links to each song, so it just came out like that, man. I thought it would be cool to make a concept, I guess. A good attempt.
It's dope. No, and it's certainly, it does hold that concept. And I know you consider yourself, so I want to know why this is, I don't know if this is a self-proclaimed title or what. So you're the bedroom pop rapper is what you claim. And I do hear, bedroom pop influences in your music, but I also hear other things too. I think that's, not indicative of you as a whole. You obviously, like, you mix on, particularly on that album, The Hometown Hero, you mix in some jazz and some electronic and even like house and contemporary pop, hip hop and things like that. So you kind of blend in a lot of nice genres. But what about the bedroom pop rapper title? How did that kind of come about?
Well, so after I finished that project, like there's definitely bedroom pop influences on that project. Like I kind of like I didn't because I make all the music. I write all the music in my bedroom. Then I send it out to my friend Jonah to mix it down for me. But like when I was like, and it kind of has that DIY aesthetic like feel to it when I make it. And so when I was like doing that, like I'd step back from that project and I was like, dang, like I felt like a little bit, for me personally, I felt like I was a little bit all over the place, It's like doing this, doing that, doing this. And I was like, damn, let me hone in on what's really working for me. And at the time, the song Pollen was like working. And like that was the only song that was really working from there. And that song for me had like the kind of like bedroom poppy kind of feel, like sing-songy, kind of that like tingy Rhodes piano beat thing, So I was like, okay, this seems like the way I'm going to go. And my good friend Aiden, who does stuff at Sleepless Boston, he kind of helped me go, bro, like the way you dress, the way you are, bro, it's just like you're just like a bedroom pop dude, bro. Like, and like you're like a bedroom pop dude that kind of raps. So it's like, and I was like, oh shit. And like if you hear the new music that I'm working on that's about to come out very, very soon, you're gonna hear like, oh, this is like cross the line from being kind of like, oh, it's kind of bedroom poppy to like, oh, this dude's making like bedroom pop, like neo soul, R&B, whatever, indie rock type shit, bro. It's very it's a big transition from like what I was doing before.
Well, that's cool. You're almost like you're challenging yourself in a way to like, you know,
Yeah.
really hone in on a certain sound that you think that's working. Yeah, Pollen is your most streamed song on Spotify. So I know attention's
Right.
halfway there. You got about 80,000 I saw on Pollen. That's the other cool part I think about this particular album is it's not just about you going around asking people like what Boston means to them. You even put elements of Boston in there. Like, you know, you talk about like there's sports come up as a topic,
Yep.
right? And then obviously even just not only sonically but topically, like you do like almost seasons, right? Like some of the production sounds like they actually it would go with certain seasons, and some
Yeah.
songs literally like are named after certain seasons, like Pollen, something I'm dealing with at the moment right now. And if anyone can hear it in my voice, but so you really kind of encapsulate Boston as a whole. Like when you're talking about weather, I mean, there's even one of the skits too is a weather report with all the snow, which I thought was
Yes, exactly. Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so in terms of as a whole, so what does Boston mean to you though? If you were
Oh,
to ask it to yourself.
that's a hard question. Like Boston to me, I would say like for me, Boston is just like home. I get like it's I think it's like so like general, but like really like I've been born and raised here. Grew up in Jamaica Plain, in between Jamaica Plain and Canton, Massachusetts. I live in Roxbury right now. I've been living in Roxbury for the past year or so because yeah, for the past year I've been in Roxbury. And it's just like home. Like my whole family's here. Like nobody like I don't think any of my family members live out. Oh, well, my cousin lives in Miami, but besides that, everybody's here. Like this is all I know, and like it's like and like that's kind of like what it's like a lot of things, and that's why like the album has like a span of topics, like going from like like having fake friends on Pollen to like cameras talking about girl problems, or the intro track talking a little bit about police violence and talking about being afraid to do what you want to do because of stereotypes. Like there's a range of emotions on there because there's a range of things I've experienced here.
Cool. Yeah, so it's really like just your kind of your upbringing, your come up,
Yeah.
you know, project. That's that was your first full length project. Is that correct?
Yeah, like yeah, I like if you look on the internet, you like do a deep scrub. Like I used to go by a different name. I'm not gonna say so nobody finds that shit. But like if you
Yeah, you're
go
like,
on that pip, you could probably
avoid it.
find like some old stuff. Yeah, I'm avoid it. Like I'm like my idea is like if anything, if this stuff does work out, and I do get a fan base, it'll be like one of those funny Easter eggs that maybe like somebody just randomly stumbles upon. Oh, this is before he was like blah, blah, blah. Like I just leave it like that. Just a little Easter egg, I guess. If shit works. Probably know we're gonna hear it again. Like I think I looked at it like maybe a couple weeks back and it had like 76 plays. I'm like, ooh. But that came out in high school though, so it was like I wasn't rapping wrong.
It was a different time, man. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
still honing in on that bedroom pop sound, trying to find that. So you know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's we all go through our trials and tribulations. Trust me, our first episode was not this. I'll just put it that way. It's not what you see here. We've talked about it before. Our old listeners are gonna know, they're gonna like probably roll their eyes right now, be like, he's literally mentioned this like 7 times. He needs to stop. But like, I'm not kidding. My co-host and I that used to do this with Cody.
Yep.
We when we first started, we had a Guitar Hero mic. We put in
Oh wow.
my old room in Medford, my attic of a room that I was renting out a bunch of my friends in Medford.
Mhm.
It was my bedroom, two chairs, my old one of my old computers, a Guitar Hero microphone in a cup, and we talked down into it like this. And I'm how we recorded the first thing. We didn't have like a studio microphone. We didn't have a stand. We had nothing. You know what I mean? So it's
Oh
just
my.
it's the humble beginnings, bro. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
humble beginnings, but that makes for a great come up.
absolutely amen to that.
Yes.
So you grew up in Jamaica Plain, and
Yes.
just moved to Roxbury somewhat recently. Then
Yeah. I grew up. I went to middle school and elementary school. I mean, middle school. I'm sorry, elementary, middle, and part of high school in in Boston, in West Roxbury. Um, and then my last 2 years of high school, I went to Canton High in South Shore for a little bit, and I lived out there. Um, and like that was interesting for it's like it being like going from being kind of like West Roxbury is kind of like suburbs, I guess, but kind of going from like city to the suburbs. It was a very interesting dichotomy that I had to dealt with. Um, but then I've been Jamaica Plain since when I went to college. I lived on campus for a little bit. Then I and then I moved and lived in Jamaica Plain again for some time with my parents. Then my parents moved to Roxbury, but I moved to Roxbury earlier to live with my friend Berger, who's also a dope musician. So I went out, so I lived with him for a couple months. And I just recently, after like December, after January, I moved back with my parents. So I've been here for like a month or so in Roxbury.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I know you're not really technically, so you didn't really grow up in Roxbury, but you definitely have some roots in Roxbury for sure.
Yeah. My mom grew up in Roxbury.
Yeah.
So,
And there's been some big hip hop artists that have come from Roxbury. I mean, most notably Guru of GangStarr is one of them, like probably one of the OGs. Yeah. And you have other guys too, even in the mainstream right now or I shouldn't say mainstream, but in the mainstream Boston scene, like guys like Hefe Replay. So what is it for you to kind of be a part of that kind of movement in Roxbury right now and be a voice for it? Is that something you think about, or are you more just like you want to be a voice for Boston, or is that not even something you think about either in terms of like being a voice for the city?
So kind of going back to one thing, like, so Guru, my mom actually went to high school and like went to school with Guru. Like, yeah, she knew him for a long time. Even my dad knew him too, which is funny. So like that, because like when you said that, I was like, oh crap, like I'm like, damn, it's just funny because my mom would be like, oh, I remember he used to tell me he wanted to be a rapper and he was moving to New York and like he did it.
Yeah.
So, but kind of going back, like for like I always thought myself, I was like, yeah, I really want to be like the person to be like, yo, Boston this, Boston that, where Red Sox out here, where just kind of keep that alive and kind of be like, oh, like I want to be like one of the people when they think of like because there's not too many people you be like, oh, Boston, especially with this newer generation, like Boston, oh, who do you think of? Maybe Benzino, I guess. Like I don't know, like I don't like maybe, but like I wanted to be the
like Cousins did, really, like when you think
like Cousin Stiz. Yeah, like if somebody thinks Boston, they're gonna think of Cousin Stiz. So it's like, okay, but I want to be one of those people like, oh, when I think of Boston, it's like Cousin Stiz. Oh, Heath too, kind of like the way you think of Toronto. You're like, oh, Drake, The Weeknd, Nav, Tory Lanez. It kind of has like that kind of ring to it, where like where they're from. They're not trying to shy away from it, And like I guess like Joyner Lucas too kind of fits that, but he's not really he's from Massachusetts, but still same thing.
Yeah, no, I no, that makes sense. In terms with Joyner Lucas, I know he's more Worcester, but he still represents like the state. You know what I mean? And then when you think, of course, you think Boston. So like that does make that connection makes sense. But I don't think a lot of people when they look at Joyner Lucas though they're like they don't think Boston, and it's not really. And it makes sense why, because he wasn't really repping Boston ever before, regardless. So it makes sense, but yeah, so you're somebody that you obviously would like to be a voice for Boston, but we were talking a little bit off air too, just like about how hard it is to like really take yourself to the next level in Boston. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what do you think the state of the Boston music scene is at the moment, and like, what do you think needs to change to kind of for us to elevate to a point where we're really recognized nationally with the Torontos, with the LAs, the New Yorks, Atlanta, Chicago, right? Talk to me a little bit about what your thoughts are on that.
So the current state, I think it's like definitely like maybe like from my perspective at least, because like I'm relatively new to like as like you mentioned to yourself, kind of finding yourself in this Boston scene. Like I'm jamming, like I knew of like back in like middle school or high school, like Malfi and stuff, when he was like really like a big thing, and like that was kind of like my entry level into like the Boston hip hop scene, XYZ. Then being a part of it, I kind of learned about everybody. But like from my perspective, it's like, dang, there's a bunch of people working towards the same goal, and there's the goals. It feels like the thing is like there's definitely like an energy that I haven't felt, like, and like say I'm 23 years old, so like people might take this out of context who are older, like, no, there's always been this feeling, like, but like for me right now, there's energy that's going like with the people like the Van Buren, even Sean Wire, and it's just like this momentum kind of building where it's like, oh, okay, there's like some type of energy to the city right now, and like that's something I never felt before. So one, I think that's a dope thing, but like kind of taking it to the next level, like it's kind of hard because there's no like I feel like there's not like an infrastructural path. Like I've been out to Chicago a couple of times to work with Superboy, who's pretty good friends with Chance and Taylor Bennett, Chance's little brother. And like I've kind of having a conversation with him, and I was like, hey, so what do you think like what do you think makes like Chicago like there's a scene from like really local, like going to open mics to like, oh, we're gonna tour this whole country like arenas with Chance and Kanye and Common and Twista. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, and like his explanation was kind of like, oh well, it has to come down to the elder statesman in like the game, and it comes down to like, okay, so Chance was starting off, he got help from somebody who else took it there. You know what I mean? And it's the elder statesmen, but it's not necessarily responsibility, but in their culture, like in the culture of the local Chicago hip hop scene, and you can see in the Atlanta hip hop scene, it's like really like Young Thug. Oh, I heard Gunna's music. I really fuck with them. You're coming with me, type stuff. You know what I mean? So that's one issue aspect of it. I don't think that's the whole problem, but I think that's like one major thing. Was like, okay, there's no like infrastructure of like this person's looking for people to really kind of bring them up here. You know what I mean? Like a place like New York is like there's people scouting for talent everywhere in New York. You know what I mean? You go to the right open mic or the right showcase, you get from the right people that actually were like, damn, we've been looking for this fresh breath of air. We can take them to what record label? You know what I mean? And there's no record labels here in Boston too, which kind of like
Right.
well, no like majors, I guess.
Right.
You know, like there's definitely like independent record labels here, but like there's no majors, which kind of like it kind of kills the culture. You know what I mean? It's like, what record label am I gonna go to? Like you can't just walk down the street and be like, oh, this is Columbia right here. Let me drop a demo in, or like something like, even though that might not work, but it could. You know what I mean? And it just instills that culture. It's like,
There's no option.
yeah, it's in our backyard. It's not like this thing. Okay, like big record labels in New York. Okay, big record labels in Los Angeles. Big record labels in Atlanta, where it's like, okay, like they just instills it just instills a culture of like this music stuff is like right in our backyard, and like this is very capable because we've seen other people do it, and we saw their steps they take there. You know, it's kind of it's a knowledge thing. It's definitely a knowledge thing where it's like there's a lack of knowledge on how to do it, and everybody's finding it out for themselves. But with elder statesmen who kind of be like, yo, don't do this because that doesn't make sense. But this is the keys to kind of move forward. That's like what I think a lot of people are missing.
Interesting. So yeah, there really isn't somebody that's in that position. That does make a lot of sense, and
Yeah.
and rightfully so. You know, maybe there isn't anybody at the moment. I mean, we talked a little bit off air about like Cousin Stiz, right? Like he
Yeah.
put Sean Wire on his album. That's like an example of that. But
Yes.
Cousin Stiz is a nationally known name, but is he really? I mean, he's not obviously a Drake or a Kendrick or even to the level of like a Young Thug or a Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Like not, and it's not, that's no knock on Cousin Stiz.
No.
Cousin Stiz is
Definitely
an
not.
artist, bro. I mean, he's one of the best to come out of the city, and I love
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah. I bump his stuff all the time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But you're right. He's not quite there yet on a popularity level, and that's okay. But right, you're right. I think that there's no infrastructure. There's nobody there, and it's interesting to kind of hear you. Being able to travel out and talk to other artists about their scenes and kind of talk to them about what goes on there. I know you, and you even said off air too. You were you had gone to New York a couple of times as well, and kind of out the scene there and the talent there. So tell me a little bit about, you obviously been to Chicago. Tell me a little bit about New York.
Yeah, so New York, New York is like New York. That's where I kind of see myself fitting in the most. But like going out to New York, like I basically went out there because my girlfriend just moved out there. So I kind of been like kind of looking for ways to go there, and just to feel the vibe, because I just wasn't like, because I think I'm maybe probably gonna move there, but like I'm not quite sure yet with all this coronavirus stuff. Kind of throws all my plans weird. And like I've heard like a lot of people that I met in New York, they're leaving New York because it's like there's probably not gonna, like, even though a lot of things are probably gonna open up and get better by like 2021-ish, it doesn't seem like New York's gonna get up and running till like way later on, So like a lot of people I know yeah, exactly. And like a lot of people I know like are like, oh, we're just hitting the road. I'm going down to Atlanta. So like, but like from my time being there beforehand, when I kind of got like, I was like trying to find shows that kind of have that like that fact, like that's going on, like what's happening, I ended up going to a Brevin Kim show in Boston, Boston Boys, Sammy Adams, but that came in my head. But
not Sammy Adams, for anybody that was confused by that. They're Boston. They're not Boston's boy. I think that was his slogan.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always forget about Sammy Adams because I hate to say that I didn't take him seriously. But when you look at his music then and now, it just hasn't aged well. I think that's the biggest problem with it, honestly. he's not really rapping anymore. I mean, he has jumped on a track with one of our friends of the show, Trevi, who has also been on before.
Okay, dope.
And yeah, I mean, and they made a pretty cool track together called Wimbledon. But you know, you're really not seeing like Sammy Adams isn't dropping music like that, right? Right anymore. You know,
No,
it's just
and
not.
like
Yeah.
it was definitely like of a time era, you know, like even at the time, like it's like that, like I always call it frat rap, you know what I mean? It was like for the frat boys, you know, like get like kind of get like hype with that, like, and like it's funny to get at the time, it was like really, because I remember that song Driving Me Crazy by him. I thought that was a bop, but I was in middle school too, so like my like, you know what I mean? So it's like, but I thought that thing was a bop, you know, and like Mac Miller at the same time was kind of doing the same lane of things, but
He was
like
more of a traditional rapper though, like a rapper's.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like
yeah.
he ended up being one of the, like, artistically speaking, Mac ended up becoming like one of, I'm not saying this even because he's dead, but like when you're talking about, you know, rest in peace Mac, of course,
Yeah.
but when you're talking about like his progression, right? Like Sammy Adams never progressed
No.
the way like Mac did. Like they kind of had the similar rap style then, but Mac knew how to like break through that and like give us something different. Like, you know, he gave us very like somber, more like almost indie sounds on his last cut, you know, on his last.
That album was fire. That album was it, like kind of going back to the bedroom pop type thing, dude. But like that's like one of the things was like because that kind of has that like not say bedroom pop, bro, but it just has that like very acoustic kind of feel to it, that warm feeling. But keep going, what you saying, my man.
No, you're good. And like, and it's just cool for him to see him like evolve musically. And then when you look at, I know I'm kind of going like backwards in a way, but you know, the album before, like one of his albums before that, Divine Feminine, very rooted in like neo soul, and maybe more like the sound that you're kind of looking for in a way, looking for, like going for. And then, you know, before that, I mean, it was Good AM, which was more, you know, had more of that hip hop sound, but then, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And then obviously you found, you know, watching movies, which was a lot more like rooted in like Odd Future style. So you're seeing the progression and someone like Mac show his artistic talent versus like someone like, you know, like that has Sammy Adams hasn't really exactly, I don't know how we got on this topic. And you were talking about the Brevin.
No, because it's like it's an interesting deep dive into like because like yeah, exactly. No, but like it like is, as you mentioned, Mac Miller is just like a beast, bro. Like I can like talk about Mac all day, but
so you're a big fan of Mac, and you told me you're a big fan of Chance as well. And it's funny, I didn't want to say this to you because
like Chance.
I didn't I didn't want to make it seem like I was just like, so you sound like Chance the Rapper, explain to me that right now. But you know what I mean?
No.
But I get the Chance
heavy influence
in your cadence, especially like even just the way that you're able to kind of like switch pitches like mid bar. You know what I mean? You do it a little bit. I think it's just a Chance that used to do that a lot when his acid rap. I know. Yeah. Big Day. Say what you want about.
I'm at the like, but like Chance, he's like for my thing is that, and that's partially the reason, like kind of partially the reason the bedroom pop thing. It's like I had like the heavy Chance, and like, yo, man, I'm not gonna lie, I was bumping acid. I used to bump acid rap at least once a week for like maybe up until 2018, dude. Like, yeah, it's like I'm not gonna lie, like I never like it's like to this day, like I haven't listened to it much recently because I kind of like time changes, like my tastes have kind of changed. But like I'm a heavy Chance, like I was a heavy Chance like fiend. Like I used to love Chance. I knew all of his like weird deep cut features he did with like unknown Chicago artists. Like I was like that deep into like Chance. Like it was like to an excessive point, right? And like with that project, I was like this at the time. My reference from making that project, because I made that project like when I was actually recording that project, it was easily 2018, 2017, beginning to late 2017, early 2018 when I was really recording and writing it. And at that time, my headspace was like, because I'm not the Big Day wasn't out, but the coloring book one was out before. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really big. I didn't really like it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like big Chance fan. Hated coloring book and really hated Big Day. Yeah, I hated coloring book. It wasn't for me.
Well, because I know a lot of people that don't obviously like this Big Day album, and rightfully so. I wasn't a huge fan of it either. But I mean, I'm not religious, at
I'm
all,
not religious.
but in terms of coloring book, personally, I thought sonically, I thought it was amazing. I thought just like the some of the gospel sounds that he hit, like he really freaking hit. But I mean, I guess it's a personal preference thing. Acid rap was obviously like, I think the difference is, I think because Kanye, you could tell that album was a little bit very heavily Kanye influenced. And
Yeah.
gospel, like, so we kind of heard something like it already. I don't think anybody had really heard at the time anyway something like acid rap. It was so
No.
unique, especially for the time. It was so just, it didn't make sense, but it did, you know what I mean? At the same time, like it was a breath of fresh air, but yet it was so grating at points. It was, it was really just a very interesting project to break down.
Oh.
Like it still kind of blows my mind to this day. I was so pumped when they finally put it on streaming services, by the way.
Yeah, that was like a big thing too, because
That was
that's what kind of made me start revisiting it again, like that, when I haven't listened to it too much recently.
Yeah.
But like my thing is, like, the reason why I didn't like not the big day, I didn't like that one either, but the coloring book that much, it's because like, being such a hardcore stan, dude, I'm waiting for it. Where's Acid Rap Part 2? I need Acid Rap Part 2. And like, then again, it's like necessarily not like, there was like moments where it kind of felt like it had that kind of feeling. It's like, oh, but like it was just a different album. It was just different. And like, that's not to me, like, that's just me being like a hyper fan of, like, because like that's what I came to realize about myself. I was a hyper fan of a project, not like Chance. Like, I like Chance as a dude. He think he's a nice guy, but like as a project, I was like a hyper fan of that one. Even like 10 Day, I really like 10 Day a lot too. But like, I wasn't like so into 10 Day that like I need to listen to all the time. But it was just that one project. So I realized, I'm like, damn, I'm not like a real like that's why I hate to say, like, I'm like I used to be a super fan at a point, you know what I mean? But now I'm just like, I'm a fan of one album, but the one person I realize I'm a super fan of is Tyler, the Creator. Like, because I see the Flower Boy in the back, and I'm like, yo, that's one of my favorite albums.
Well, okay, all right, so kind of going back to this conversation then, and I have said this on the show before in episodes, where I love artists like a Tyler, like a Mac Miller, that don't make the same project though. Like I hear your point, right? Like acid rap was amazing, and it was different, it was weird, it was unique. I want to talk to you about that being weird, by the way, because it's something you mentioned in your lyrics quite a bit. And for me though, it was really cool, in the moment. But I'll play devil's advocate for you a bit, and I know you the answer for you, like, you just want another acid rap, but for me, it's almost opposite. I almost feel like, let that be, you know what I mean? Like acid point in time, let it. I almost feel like if he had done another acid rap or like acid rap, it would actually take away a little bit from acid rap, especially if it wasn't as good. So like, and I think to evolve, I mean, you can find your sound, but if you're gonna evolve in really anything, you want to try to adapt and improve and get better things. That's why I love guys like Tyler, who have come out and said, I will never make the same album. If you want to go listen to Goblin, go listen to Goblin. I will never make another Goblin. And he has stated by that, and you hear it in his music. I mean, when you hear Flower Boy, do you think the same person that made Flower Boy made Cherry Bomb or Goblin or even Bastard? I don't know.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And but like the thing, like, it's crazy because it's like at the time, because I remember when Bastard dropped. I remember, like, I was like looking at the little blogs. I'm like, oh, who's this guy who's talking about like his mental state, like, in this crazy way? And it's like, whoa, it's just so dark. Like VHS? No,
VCR wheels.
Yeah, VCR wheels. That's like, when I heard that and I saw the music video for that, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And that, like, but then you jump forward to like even Igor, because I love Igor, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. But like, it's a weird thing is, because I have seen him tweet. He goes, French, like New Magic Wand. I've been trying to make New Magic Wand since I made French. You know what I mean?
French, yes. Oh my God, that shit.
So it's kind of like he's up, like I always feel like when he's like he doesn't make the same song at all, but he takes elements, like he takes the feeling of songs, then just like he's like, let's crank this up to 10, because I know actually now when I produce, I know how to do this with my production skills. I know how to rap. I know how to really convey my feelings, like, in the most precise manner to make this really like compelling.
No, that's okay. That's actually all right. See, there you go. Now, see, that's a good point, counterpoint to my point. And now in thinking about that too, if you even hear a song like Earthquake sounds like
Ooh,
it probably could have been on Flower Boy though, sonically, right? When you think about
yeah,
it, I think
yeah.
it could have nicely. As far as so, all right. So let me ask you real quick. I just want to get your input. Favorite, we know your favorite Chance record, favorite Mac record, and favorite Tyler record.
Favorite Mac faces. Like I just like I'm not gonna lie, like that song, like that whole album got me like it hit me at a time when I was like, wow, like it was just really it was deep, but it is like it was just really deep. It was like I don't know, something special about it. But Tyler the Creator as well, it's Flower Boy. Like I'm a big Flower Boy stan. Like
Yeah,
I'm just
me too.
like you can even see like the cover art for Pollen Bro. It's like nice. It's like almost identical, not identical, but like it's really based off of that. You know what I mean? That kind of feeling.
He tapped into that neo soul jazz like sound that I didn't think he could, really tap into.
Yeah.
But when you hear him speak about his history with like music and like what music he grew up on, it makes total sense when
Oh yeah.
you listen to any of his interviews. But yeah, same with me. Like I love jazzy sounding music. I mean, I grew up in a
Mm-hmm.
household where like a lot of Kenny G, a lot of Luther
Okay. Yeah.
Vandross, a lot of Marvin
Mm-hmm.
Gaye, was played in my house. And as well as my mom was playing for a lot in the house. So
Yep.
like in the car, all that shit. So like when that's has stuck with me. Like, and that's why I liked a lot of your project because even though it had those bedroom pop, as you say,
Yep.
sounds, you still had some jazzy sounding songs and even influences in your song. I mean, even just like the opening track was extremely jazzy.
Yeah.
So I hate to keep using that word, but like that's
Oh
just
no, because it describes it well. Because that was the idea was like we're like that like because the idea ultimately because like the Chance was like, oh, I made acid rap. Well, like one of the things he says, like, oh, he's doing a lot of acid. Like, okay, that's one thing, yeah, whatever. But then it was like to the point he's like, also because I was listening to a lot of acid jazz at the time, which kind of was like, oh, like this is like jazzy, but it's weird in its own little way. And like he was like, oh, let me rap on that shit, dude. And I was like, oh, so I was like, oh shit, like I kind of like that jazzy feel, like that's the one thing like I like To Pimp a Butterfly has that really jazzy feel as well,
yeah.
and like
Well, I
it's really executed well. Oh.
a good kid up here, and I same like it's hard because Kendrick's different because I feel like actually we had this conversation with Odins when he came in
No.
studio before quarantine and we did a whole episode about Kendrick Lamar, but we talked about kind of his progression as an artist.
Beast.
But yeah, like oh absolutely. But To Pimp a Butterfly at its time too, like just to have that, like you're saying that it still had some G funk in it as well. Like he
Mm-hmm.
really took the time to make it sound West Coast, but then there was a ton of you know jazz like oh my god, who's the artist? I'm blanking right now. The artist that even Big Crit has talked about a ton that was influential on him. Oh my god, from
Oh.
shit, I don't know, it'll come to me. But like
Mm.
it sounds like it could even sound like it was from like the South, like New Orleans, right? Like that
Yeah.
had some of those influences in it. So it's just interesting that sound came back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And really was prominent, in rap. And I think it's so cool that's the case, and that you were able to even kind of pull from some things too.
Yes.
Uh, in terms of, so I want to go. So I think this would be interesting, though. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
just go back to this part of the conversation, but I think it would be cool if you ended up. I mean, I'd love to see you stay. Don't get me wrong. I want to see you stay in Boston,
No,
but
no, no.
because you're dope and I think you're extremely talented and you could be a
Thank
guy
you.
for us. But if you were to go to New York and see you popped up, that'd be cool because Guru kind of did the same thing. His parents, the history of Guru, like that would be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and that's the see. And that was like the kind of the idea. It's like, bro, like kind of like carry that, like, cause like it ultimately gets to a point where it's like I always feel like it's like when you feel too comfortable, that's when you got to jump. That's when you got to do something. Because once you get too comfortable, it's like, all right. And once you get to that moment and you jump, hey, it might pan out, it might not pan out, but at least you can say you tried. And like that was kind of the thing. It's like Guru did the same thing, and then that was in the back of my mind too. It's like, all right, so he went there because that's where he felt like he had to be at the time. That's where he felt like he could make the best connection. That's where he felt like he could make the best music with the best producers he had. But like I'm not gonna lie, like with the internet, it's kind of diminished that producer. Like I feel like it really diminished that producer artist relationship. But like still, it's like New York is just a dope place, and like I hope to get out there sometime soon, but for right now, just gotta work. I back to the bedroom, back to the bedroom.
Back to the bedroom in Roxbury, man.
Yep.
Well, so in going back to our our conversation on jazzy music, I
Mhm.
came across something very cool, and it was actually the thing that made me realize I was like, okay, I need to really check out this dude's music. Believe it or not, this is the first thing I'd ever heard from you. Okay, I swear on my life.
Oh,
It was this is 617
oh yeah.
EMA's performance you did on top of
Yeah.
what, it was on top of a roof. You did that. That was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's the top of my house. Like I have like this, like it goes like the basically like you can stand down on the top floor. So I just brought a bunch of my kitchen shit up there, and I set up my computer up there, brought my whole interface mic and all that stuff, and I said we're just gonna do it right here, man.
Dude, one, anybody that hasn't seen it, we'll link it in the
All right.
description. It was this episode. So anybody that wants to go check it out after the episode, absolutely do. It's amazing. It's only about a minute long, but
Yeah.
there's this crazy jazz instrumental that you rap over, bro. And one, you absolutely smashed it. You
Thank
snapped.
you. I
Also,
appreciate
like,
it.
of course, man. But also, like, that was such a difficult instrumental to rap over. I couldn't believe, like, I was just like, damn, this dude is talented if he can find the melody on this and stay with it and like make it all work. And you had so many like cool bars. You're talking about like how you love being a weirdo, like you're open about it. You don't give a shit that you're a weirdo. Now that you
Hell
like
yeah.
acid rap mixtape, it totally makes sense to me.
Mhm.
But I want you to tell me about like, the thought process behind creating that. Well, how that came about, working
Yeah.
with PMAs, and this is 617 project. But what was your thought process behind, not only just the bars and delivery and the production itself, but like the aesthetic, just the whole nine yards. I just want you to break it all down because it's
Yeah. So it's funny. So right after I finished the project, that was like one of the first songs I made. Like after I finished, like I took a break. Like I took a break after I made the hometown here. I took a break. I was like, all right, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna live life. Like I'm gonna go do college stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like gonna like put music on, not necessarily on the back burner, but I'm just gonna let it rest because I went super hard for that. Like I even like so I don't know if you know this, but for the release party, I worked with geez, what was her name? Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna shoot myself for not knowing this, but Julia Mahia, sorry, she was running for city council at the time. She was running as the first Afro Latino woman to ever be part of city council in
oh,
Boston. So me and her linked up together, and I had the event, my release party at her.
this is for your album, or this is for the
Yeah,
song?
this is for the hometown hero. This is for the hometown hero project, and like so, like I thought it'd be a cool thing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna bring young kids who like not young, like young enough to like old enough to vote, but young in demographic wise when you think about politics and stuff like that. But I bring up a bunch of them to her headquarters in Jamaica Plain, which is right. It's like right down the street from my grandma's house, which also kind of played out into like the hometown hero thing. Is like, oh, my grandma lives right up the street. This lady's running for city council, and so like I basically like we basically did that whole like we did the whole combination of the things, right? But and like I really pushed that out hard. I really did a lot for that project. But I'm like and nothing really started going up. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a time off. Like Pollen was like maybe at 300 plays, you know what I mean? Nothing happened. So I was like, all right, I put my hands up. I come back at this another time. Let me just live life. So like I took time off, took a couple months off. But then I was like this. I was just sitting there, and I was like, damn. Like I've just gotten the bug. I was like, I want to make some music. Then I heard the instrumental, like the jazz instrument. Like I was listening to music and I heard the jazz instrumental for Bueller, and I was like, oh damn, this really got me feeling it. And this at the time, like I just finished the Hometown Heroes, still like I still really into like that jazz rap type hybrid stuff. And I was like, yo, let me just sit down and write. And I was like, yo, this is gonna be like I was thinking for a time, I was like, this is gonna be my first single I release after my Hometown Hero stuff. Like this is gonna be the first thing because it's like a declaration, like I am the hometown hero, XYZ. I'm gonna be myself no matter what, and that's kind of where I was going for. It's like I'm gonna talk about my like, and that's not talk about my shortcomings. I talk about my the uphill battles I fought. I talk about being me. I talk about just being authentic to who you are. So I was like, all right, let me just do that. And like it just ended up coming out really well. And I recorded it months ago. But then I started this Boston the BMAs put out like, hey, we want artists to perform one of their songs on video. We'll post it, and you have the potential to be nominated for a Boston Music Award if people like it enough. And if like all that stuff, I was like, oh crap, let me do this. Like this is like the perfect opportunity to like get in front of people who are in the Boston scene who might not know about me, you know? And I said, dang, what, like I'm saying that, I'm like, what song can I do that's going to be really dope to do live? And I can really just rap and have fun with it. And like that, and like first thing came to mind was Bueller. So I just kind of sat up on my roof, played it, and just the rest is history, man.
Dude, what's the song called again? It's called Bueller?
Yeah, Bueller, yeah.
Ferris Bueller or like?
Yep, yeah. Because I think in the hook, let me think. I said, I don't know. I was talking about because one of my good friends, he ended up going to jail for a little bit, and I was like, basically the line is doing this stuff like, oh, I missed out on that, like Ferris Bueller type shit, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically kind of the idea behind it.
Is that song out to stream or no? Because I don't think it's not. Okay.
No, it's just like because I was really planning on like, so that this kind of goes back to like the Chance the Rapper comparison point. Like I sent it to like my boy Aiden at the time, he was like pretty much my manager for a little bit, and like he was helping me kind of guide and change my like aesthetic and stuff like that. I guess like
rebranding.
Yeah, rebrand stuff. And he was like, bro, do not put this out because like the people will be like, you're really like sounding like, because like the beat, this thing is like you just really sound like Chance. And like, and he was like, you just need to distinguish yourself from sounding like that. And that's why I've been like, Attention still has that kind of Chance-esque things, but like that's kind of like the last one. I kind of feel like I'm like the closest to it's ever going to be like that again. I feel like, and everything else is just going to be totally different.
I don't think though sonically it sounds Attention sounds.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing.
I didn't hear Chance out of you. I only really heard it in your cadence on the BMA's performance.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. That's fine with me.
But then when I dove into Hometown Hero, I heard that's when I heard it like a lot more. And then I was like, okay, I really now hear that Chance influence. And you me because you even mentioned it too, but in one of your lyrics. But in the same time, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And like I said, I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to like make it seem like that's what I would.
But that's a big thing though. That's like a real big, like that's a real big thing that I think about consciously, because I'm like, it's like you like it's one thing to wear your influence on your sleeve, but it's one thing to be like really like oh, like you're trying to relive them. Like basically I was trying to make like, he doesn't make music like acid rap anymore, so somebody else has to do it, and I have to be that person. That was kind of like the mindset where I was like, it's not even me. It's not like it is me because I'm putting my own lyrics and put my own spin on it, I guess. Yeah. But it's like ultimately not like really me. Like how would I sound? How does Heath sound?
That's pretty funny though, because you wanted acid rap again so bad. You're like, screw it, I'm just taking punks myself to make it.
Yeah, but no, like basically, bro, like in like that was really kind of like the more I think about it, like that was like the mindset. I was like, bro, like nobody's making music like this anymore. You know what I mean? Not even Vic, like for a little bit, Vic Mensa was kind of making music kind of like acid rappy, I guess, like with his internet tape and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, not even Vic's doing this anymore. Like, God, who's this gonna let this die? And like, I don't know, some weird stuff.
I forgot about Vic Mensa. Another guy another guy that I liked for quite a while. He had a tape a project in 2016 that I really liked a lot. The name of it is now escaping me. Also remember the jazz artist now, BB King.
BB King. Okay, yeah.
That was what I was thinking of from like about 30 minutes ago. But
okay,
again, off my head. But like the Vic Mensa like experiment, I'll say, with him, like he definitely had that Chance sound at the beginning. Almost started sounding a lot like Drake a little bit during that 2016 time. But then he dropped that project. I think it was Autobiography, I want to say. That was good moments, but it was a little all over the place. And then he went kind of rock, sort of into like a rock scene.
It is so weird. Like I was a big, like when he dropped the internet tape, when he was like kind of like on that, like because it was like Chance and him buddies coming up. You know what I mean? Like I was really into him at that point. But then he started going really. He still got signed around. And he started going really like pop rap. And I'm like, I like pop rap. Like don't get me wrong. Like Graduation is like one of my favorite albums. And I feel like that's like the thesis of pop rap. Like hair, you know. But it just got to a point where he just stopped feeling genuine, because
did sound being forced
a while. Yeah, it sounded forced because like being a fanboy, it's like as like kind of like just looking into like watching Chance the Rapper's manager talk about their relationship stuff, and like him and Vic created that sound together. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, even though it sounded like he felt like, damn, I sounded mad like him, and he sounded mad like me, but that was kind of the appeal to it, I guess. At times, like, oh, they're friends. Obviously, they make music together all the time. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, I want to say one thing though, because even though I'm glad that you have friends around you that are honest. Like I said, we were talking on air, off air. Like like two guys that I, that are part of our, our marketing side of things, Sam and Andrew, they're friends, have been friends of mine for years. Like they've always been honest with me about how they think I should, change things on the show and how it can improve. So it's good you have somebody in the corner kind of telling you how
Yeah.
things are. But also on the other breath too, it's just good to be sort of I don't know, like conscious of like just be self-aware really
Yeah.
of what your sounds are, and like that. Okay, like do I sound a little bit too much like Chance? Like how can I change that? Just like still show that like, oh hey, here's an influence of mine, because I mean it's impossible nowadays. I mean it's you can stand out absolutely, but I feel like almost everyth's been done until someone really does something different. But like you can hear influence in any kind of music from anybody. I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, you're right. It's like where's that line? Like how do I find the line?
Yeah, it's like because you don't like at the end of the day you don't want to be like that guy. It's like, oh, that's the Chance guy. Like that's the Chance one to be like, and like I've gotten like I've plenty of times like when I was like really starting to like put this product out, and people like, oh, like I get DMs, they be like, yo, I love this, I love you, like some of my friends from like, because before I went to Northeastern, I went to Emerson College for a little bit of film school, and
Okay. Oh, nice.
and like when I transferred, like a lot of those other people left, either dropped out of that school, went to LA or New York, wherever they went. And like a lot of those people hit me up like, oh, yo, the project sounds great, dude. Like I really like the Hometown Hero. It's a cool premise and all that stuff. But bro, you sound like a lot like Chance. And after a while, like, cause I'm like, damn, I already felt like I knew I was like, and that was kind of like the point of it. But it was like,
It's almost like, okay, yeah,
yeah, basically. But like,
yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no.
No. I was gonna change subject. I was just gonna say I didn't think that Attention sounded as much like it. To be honest with you, I didn't think so at all. And I even think that you have a pretty underrated singing voice in my opinion. I
thank you.
I really do. I think you have some nice range on your voice, like almost. Sometimes I know you use the auto tune and things like that in places, but you almost don't. I mean, even I think on a song like Attention, it almost sounds like you don't have to as much as like you kind of took a lot of that away, especially in your hook. And you made a very catchy, melodic sounding hook that they definitely didn't sound anything like Chance would do. And obviously featuring Jazz Ingram. So tell me a little bit about the making of this single. We're loving it, by the way, over here. It was the first single I heard of yours. Yeah, oh, of course. And so actually, spoiler alert, it's going to be on Boston Artist Review 4. I will review that song formally.
Hey, thank you.
And it is now, oh, of course, man. And it is already on our Night School Live Sessions playlist because I played it for Odin's during that episode, and that is on there as well. So we are definitely pushing that one. 40,000 streams, as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So tell me how this the making of the song, and did you know it was going to be a big song, like a big song for you when it dropped, or or is it kind of a surprise to you?
So kind of going off like, so think like, so when I dropped the song, I was hoping I had the momentum, because I was hoping the momentum from Pollen kind of kept going. But I was kind of like indifferent, dude. I was like I'm gonna put it out there and see what it like I think that song was like something new I haven't tried before, kind of playing more in that dancey pop house type lane. Like, it was something different, and like it ended up working, but like kind of going to like how it was made. I remember it was like the first day I moved into Roxbury with my friend Berger at the time, and I was sitting in my room, and it was like, it was pretty, it wasn't like super hot, but it was like warm, where my room was like getting toasty, and like I was like, damn, I didn't have a bed in there. I was sleeping on an air mattress for a minute, and I was sitting there, I'm like, shit. Like, I don't know. Like it was kind of like one of those indifferent states where like I don't know what to do with right now, because I don't like I set up everything I can set up, but I'm just gonna sit down and make music. I hopped on the mic, rapped that thing out, and like the rough draft sounds nothing like the final version. And I was like, oh, it's just cool. It's not that crazy. But I sent it to my good friend Lucas, and one person I do have to put you onto is Lucas. Like he goes by Free Honey on Instagram, and like he had his EP, he has one EP out, the Palm Trees EP, and like it's easily one of my favorite things. Like, am I biased? Yes, but like it's easily one of my favorite like pieces of music to come out of Boston and maybe in the past 2 years from a local scene dude. And like his stuff, like bro, like because the thing I like about it, because one of the things me and him really became good friends about is like our kinship for being Chance fans.
Right.
But he takes it in like a totally different direction where like I take it kind of in like a very like, well, I did take it on like the head on the hammer type thing. It's like I take it very literally. He takes the influence and it's like a nice subtle like intertwined tears. But going back to what I was saying, but I sent the song to him and he goes, bro, this is crazy, bro. You need to like really get this mixed and you need to change here and there. But like, bro, this is gonna be crazy. And I went to the studio. I ended up getting my boy Jonah to mix it down and we re-recorded it and all that stuff. And I'm like, damn, it came out like it was like actually my friend Leo mixed it. And me and Leo sat there like, damn, there's not too many rap songs that sound like this, dude.
No, not at all. I think it's super unique. I like it. And it's funny. I played it for my girlfriend actually when I was driving because with her the other day, you know, I was just playing some music and I was like, oh, this is the guy. She doesn't know anybody obviously, but she's the best. Shout out Carissa. She's always supportive of, oh, you got an interview with blah, blah, blah. She likes more like country style. She does like a lot of music I do. Like I have put her on to like a lot of I would say like indie soul, indie pop, like that can kind of bridge some gaps. For her, she's not like a super pop fan, but I played her your track and she was like, oh, okay, like I actually like this. This is nice. Like I would actually legitimately listen to this again. I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's just like I think it's perfect for the summertime too. It has bouncy, like warm, upbeat feeling that I think people could definitely get down with. And people clearly are. I mean, it's getting plays.
Yeah, it's doing its thing, dude.
Yeah, no, I love the track, man, and I can't. So is that just going to be like a Lucy single, or is that attached to a project or anything like that, or are we?
So that's like no. I like this your exclusive. No, I'm just playing. But no, that's just gonna be a single. That's just gonna be Lucy. But I'm currently working on me and my friend Mike Noon, who does Noon Past Half Past Noon Productions. Me and him are working on a screen. So kind of jumping around, but kind of go with the Tyler and like being a big fan of Tyler and I'm a super fan of Kevin Abstract right now.
Oh, no way!
I love Kevin, bro.
Rockhampton, those are my guys, man. Hold on,
I'm a stan.
See,
Iridescence.
I told you, yo, bro. When I heard Saturation, all right, for the first time, when Saturation came out for the first time, it blew my freaking mind. I'm not kidding. My buddy, I sent it right away to my best friend Danny, who like we trade songs a ton. Shout out Danny.
Yep.
And bro, we saw them 3 times in. We would every time they were in Boston, bro. We went. We saw them at Middle East. I'm gonna send you some videos after this because they're fucking crazy, bro. They're like they were in the crowd performing.
No.
I was 2 feet from Merlin, and I had Dom McLennan on a pole downstairs, Middle East, hanging over and rapping it. It's craziest show I've ever been to. One of. I think Denzel Curry was probably the craziest.
Oh, Denzel Curry's a fucking beast too.
There he is, right there.
Oh yeah, Taboo. That's a good album.
Taboo. But dude, Kevin Abstract, and talk about a dude that like is doing something positive for the culture, man. Like talk about somebody that just is just putting himself out there and really just not only just on for like the movement and for the community of hip hop, but I want to talk about something that doesn't sound like anything else. Brockhampton, bro, they don't sound like anybody else, man.
And I love like I'm like that and like though like Brockhampton, Kevin Abstract on his solo project, Arizona Boy or Arizona Baby, crazy like that like Arizona Baby is the album I've been listening to the most these past months. That and like Igor and Flower Boy have been like, and you know what else I'm sneaking in there too. I've been listening to on what you call it. Oh fuck, Immunity by Clairo. That's something I've been listening to a lot.
She's a Boston artist too, right?
Yeah, she is. And like, she's one of my favorite right now. Like I've been just into like that pocket, but like Brockhampton, nothing like them. when I heard Gold, I was like, wow, this is something amazing. This is something great, dude. This is like that was something great. But like Kevin Abstract has been like major influence on me. And so with that being said, like I know like his first project, I don't know what it's called, American Boyfriend.
American. Yep.
So with that project, he kind of had films like kind of like quick, like nothing crazy films. But like me and my friend, we've actually been sitting down to kind of write. We've been writing 3 episodes of a short film, and we're going and like there's going to be 3 EPs that I drop, probably sometime in the summers with corresponding films that we do. And that's when you're like once I start dropping those, it'll make a lot more sense of like where stylistically I go. I have a rough link on my SoundCloud of like some of the rough mixes of the tracks I'm gonna put on there. I'll send it to you, bro, because I want to get your opinion on it.
Please, yes, I would love that. We'll trade.
We'll trade
you my
but
broadcast.
yeah, exactly. But that's stuff I've been working on, dude. Like it's just attention is going to be loosey for now. Like if I see it fit, I might just slide it on at the end. Because I see a lot of people doing that, but I feel like that's a cheap way to kind of
Just to like get it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it don't really to me at this point. It don't really matter what the streams look like. To be honest,
Doug, I'm not kidding you. And go back and listen. I swear to God. For our top songs of 2019, that episode that we dropped at like the beginning of 2020, Peach was my #1 song from 2019.
Yo, Peach, one of my favorite songs. My girlfriend, like that, like so I play Peach all the time. I play Sugar all the time, and my girlfriend hates me. She goes, "Oh, I can't stand listening to this song anymore." So I'm like, I can't help it. I can't. Whenever I hear it, I just gotta hear it, man.
Good, bro. It's like
good.
Dominic Fike coming in just with his like just swagger, the crooning his verse. Oh man, dude, Yoba and Bareface on the falsetto, ad libs and the back. Oh man,
dude. They're a freaking force, and like Dominic Fike too. Like I love his music too. I've been all into his stuff.
He's a name that people don't pay enough attention to. I don't think. I mean, I know he has a following. I'm not saying that they don't, but like,
yeah,
you want to talk about mainstream guys with talent, like even Brockhampton, bro, to a sense. Like, are enough people talking about Brockhampton and Kevin Abstract? In my opinion, no.
Like it's like it was like definitely a hype train for a little bit, but it's kind of diminished. Even though the music's gone like exponentially more unique and like kind of like well manicured in the sense, you know. But like I don't think so, because like a lot of people I say like people like, oh, like what music do you listen to? I say, oh, listen to Brockhampton, and they're like, oh, okay, like yeah.
Dude, I always get the same reactions too. It's like, oh, it's crazy. And I'm like,
they don't respect what they're doing. Like they don't respect because it's like it's different, you know. It's very different than a lot of stuff. So like there's like a, I don't know. Like my girlfriend don't really like Brockhampton, and she's like a diehard hip hop person. She's from Atlanta, so she likes the dirty South. She needs some Gucci Man on, like like so like we have like this funny thing, like as you mentioned, your girlfriend is more in the country. Like my girlfriend is like it's like we both into rap, but we're just into like I don't mind like trap music. Like I'm not one of those people like, oh, I hate trap music, but like I'm really into like the left field like hip hop type stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm with you in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm much more on that aesthetic of hip hop music. Again, same way. Not that I don't dislike trap music by any means. Yeah, you even had like one song on Hometown that had a little bit of a, I can't remember which one. I want to say it was
I Don't Need That, maybe, or it's either I Don't Need That or I'm So Alone. But I think it's the one with Donald Grunge.
It was one of the back end ones. It was either I'm So Alone or Off It, or one of those in the back end. I can't remember which one on top of my head, but I probably should have wrote it down. But either way,
no.
Doesn't matter. You hear that? Just everybody go listen to the album, right? Just and then you figure it out for yourself. But anyway, no, dude. Like Kevin Abstract is just like, whether it's musically or like I said, what he's doing for, you know, the LGBTQ community in not only just hip hop but just the world in general. Like when I don't know if you've ever seen a Brockhampton show, but if like it is I swear on my life, man, they bring people that are so freaking different. Like it mind blowing, the different kinds of people that you'll see at a Brockhampton show. It is unlike anything else. I'm telling you.
That's dope. That's what I like. That's what I want.
This is the craziest shit. Okay, when we saw it the very first time at the Middle East downstairs, my boy Danny will absolutely attest to this. He is a bad man. He probably won't, but. So we're in line to get in, and this woman, I say she's probably in her 40s, right? White woman, blonde hair, in front of us, with, I don't even know who she was with. I can't remember, but I remember her specifically. We're in front of her and we're walking through to like, click the tickets or whatever. And the dude clicking the tickets is, this black dude that seemed on the younger side, probably younger than even Danny and I at the time. This was a few years back. He probably still was in the early 20s. And one of the security guards was like, "Who's even playing?" And to the other kid, the woman, she goes, "Oh, it's Brockhampton. You haven't heard Brockhampton?" And the both dudes, these two black security guards who were young, like, no. And this 40-year-old middle-aged white woman, like, "Oh, they're great. You should totally check out their stuff." Danny and I were crying laughing because we're just like, this is, they bring together everybody. It's
amazing. Like, it's amazing what they can do, dude. Like, that's one thing I really respect about Brockhampton, because they bring everybody. That's why I've been slacking to see them live, even though I love them so much. I haven't had every time they come around, it's like, I just don't have it's like they're not like something comes up, and I'm like, I would die to see them at the East though. It's such an intimate venue.
Then when they were coming back, I saw them Boston Calling, I have to say it wasn't the same, because that was when
they cried on stage.
Yeah, they cried on stage. Yeah. Amir wasn't there, and that whole thing. We actually did an episode on that too. We reviewed her and talked about Amir Van's EP and whatnot. But and then we saw them again when Iridescence had dropped for what's it called? They played at the BU. What's the center?
The Agnes Arena.
Yes, Agnes Arena. Thank you. So we saw them there too. So when concerts become a thing again, I highly recommend going to them too when they come through, because they're amazing. And
I definitely do that.
If you haven't yet, watch Kevin Abstract's interview with Rick Rubin. You will.
I saw that, bro.
You did see it. Oh man, that was a mind blow.
That's why I see. That's I started these past weeks, dude. Before when I started coming up with the idea of I'm gonna write this screenplay and I'm gonna create my whole world. It was really just solely based off watching Kevin Abstract interviews. And because I liked it when Arizona Baby dropped, I liked it. I thought it was a really solid album. But it didn't really connect. It didn't have the connection with me. Watched a bunch of his solo interviews. I watched Brockhampton interviews, but I mostly keyed into him talking and stuff. And I watched some Tyler Creator interviews as well. And that just kind of was bro, because the thing that I realized so I'm not a super fan about Chance is kind of started bringing back here, bro, just jumping around. But
no, you dude.
It's that Chance is just he's a rapper. He's just a rapper, bro. But the reason I like about Kevin Abstract and mostly Tyler the Creator is they're creatives in outside sense of where Tyler Creator is doing crazy music videos, he's doing his clothing stuff, he's doing everything outside of music that makes him super cool. And Kevin Abstract is doing a similar thing with films. He directs all the music videos. Well, for the most part, he directs all the music videos. And he's just kind of stepping outside of just being a hip hop artist where I just rap and do that stuff where he's doing other things. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the creative bubble. I was I want to kind of enter that and show people that I'm not just a dude rapping on this instrumental that I found on YouTube, or I'm a person who's creating or curating or creating whatever you want to call it, content that creates a world.
Absolutely.
But I definitely see the Rick Rubin interview, bro. Yeah. It was really insightful.
Word. No, I totally agree with Kevin Abstract. That was just one of the most insightful. It was I'm the same way, dude. I watch a lot of interviews and listen to podcasts, just not only for just the information and the entertainment, but I take notes on how interviewers interview, right? I almost try to, see how they have conversations, are able to. And Rick Rubin's one of the best at it, just with his podcast, getting these artists to really open up, and that's what I kind of almost aspire to do in a sense. So I admire Kevin Abstract 100%, right? And just as an artist, but I'm not an artist, so it's a little different. But with Rick Rubin as an influencer, that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? And that's who I'm damn, that's actually, I'm not really even a biggest Beastie Boys fan either, but if you haven't seen the documentary on the Beastie Boys, you should give that a watch. It's very interesting.
I definitely have to. I remember my dad bought me a Beastie Boys book of it's funny. It's a little kid's book where it's thing, but it's pictures of the Beastie Boys and stuff like that. I think I still have it somewhere, but No, I have to definitely check it out. But have you like, because you mentioned you like Rick Rubin interviewing, but you know their podcast with him and Max Gladwell. Did you see the Andre 50,000 one or the Rex Life Orange one?
No, but dude, we have literally like the same music palette, like in terms of. Well,
That's what I'm trying to see because I look at your wall, bro. Because I see Outkast, I see Forest Drive, bro.
bro, the very first album I ever bought, Speakerboxxx Love Below. Not like the vinyl, but I'm like when they were CDs. Like that was the very first album I ever was like. And my parents, I was 8 years old. I'll never forget it. Like third grade, 2003. I was I was in fifth grade. Yeah, I was 10. And the Speakerboxxx Love Below comes out, and I wanted it so bad. And I'm 10, right? So my parents are like, "Hey, Mike, you can have it, but you have to get the edited version." So I was like, "All right." But I bumped that thing like you wouldn't believe. And then when I was in high school and I came back around to it with the explicit version, it was almost like I listened to it again for the first time because it was. When I was 10, I didn't know what the hell half the things they were talking about on that. It was like, oh, this is like,
it's a great album.
Yeah, but it's like Outkast was really the entity that got me into hip hop because they crossed a lot of those, again going back to the jazz thing, they crossed a lot of those jazz neo soul, especially at that time with Speakerboxxx Love Below and more Love Below side, but even so on Speakerboxxx with songs like Flip Flop Rock and Killer Mike and Reset, CeeLo Green and one of the Goody Mob and whatever. I could go on and on, but it really like opened me up to hip hop because I was like, oh wow, they like I started even at 10, like I shit you not, I was like, this sounds like some of the sounds here are very sounding like what I hear when I listen to Mom's Luther Vandross and Kenny G. You know what I mean? Like I'm hearing these same horn. I didn't even know what probably they were. I'm hearing these same horns that I hear in the Rooster, the same that I would hear in a Kenny G. It was just really like cool to have that perspective. And that's really just and then I ran with hip hop at that point. Like, but
like Andre 3000 is easily my favorite rapper. Like off that album, my favorite song is Vibrations. I don't know, something about that song always got me, bro. Like it just really got me.
I'm a big take off your cool with Norwich.
Oh yeah.
I love that track, dude. Like, dude, Love Below, I don't think got because everybody when they thought Speakerboxxx Love Below, they all thought obviously Hey Ya and Roses, right? And rightfully so, were amazing. They were smashes. The Way You Move, right? But just on both discs, especially Love Below, though, like how it's just crazy because that was my first introduction to Outkast, really. And then I went back and I heard like Miss Jackson, and then that's when I went to Stankanoia and excuse me, and then Aquemini and ATLiens. I almost went backwards, but looking at it from like now from this perspective of where they started to the end. I mean, for Andre to do that's Tyler-esque in a sense, right? With a Flower Boy Tyler-esque, right? Like what Andre did with the Love Below. Not that he didn't rap, but he like brought in so many
different stuff.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just song like Vibrate, Prototype, even, just gorgeous songs, man.
They're like in that, like, and they kind of going back to like, I'm not a big like peer person who's like the hip hop history and stuff like that, but like just from like my own personal experience of music, it's like me getting into like thing is like I kind of think back like my first time I heard hip hop was in my dad's car. Like you're gonna laugh. The first hip hop album, like I've heard hip hop, like 'cause my mom and dad play hip hop, but like the first hip hop album I actually like really paid attention to, I was excited about, is the Carter 3, dude.
Dude, what the
like it's a good album, but like it's such a weird, it's because like at the time like I was young and I would like wasn't really into music. Like when at the time I was listening to like rock, I was listening to My Chemical Romance, I was listening to like Broken Side. I was listening to screamo music. I'm like, and like really weird. And like I'd listen to screamo music down here, like I hear on the radio like random pop rap songs like Flow Ride and Get Low and stuff like that. But then like my dad was playing the Carter 3 in the car, and like and like Phone Home, like that's when I was like, oh, this is better than that. That's when I started digging, and it was like, oh, let me go. And my dad was showing me like Outkast, and like that's when I found my love for Andre 3000, and that's partially the reason why I like Chance so much because like I hate to bring it back to Chance so much,
No,
but
no.
like part of the and like it's kind of a big influence, but like it's really big. But the more I think about it, the more I'm talking about it, it's like, yeah, I guess he had a big, like, it was bigger than I thought. But like the similarities to like how they were kind of rapping, and like even my dad when I first heard Chance, he was like, oh, he's just doing Andre 3000. He's just trying to pretend Andre 3000. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, oh, it makes sense. But like Andre 3000 is great, dude, and like and Outkast and Big Boy, I can't even deny. But it's hard. It's I always feel bad because people are like Andre 3000, Andre 3000. But it's like Big Boy is like in his own is a fantastic rapper. Like he's like easy top tier lyricist, easy top tier stuff. But it's like when you're standing next to a freaking unicorn like Andre 3000, it's like so it just takes so much attention away from like the actual skill that Big Boy brought to the group. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, because you're sitting next to like this dude who's like a once in a lifetime artist, and like you have Big Boy who's like easily one of the greatest hip hop artists to ever make hip hop music. But it's kind of like anybody in the group with Andre 3000 just kind of look like it's kind of the Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan thing. It's like Scottie Pippen in his own was a great player. You know what I mean?
That's a
So
great
like,
comparison. That's a really good comparison, and like and timely in terms of with the Last Dance just ending.
yeah, the Last Dance just ending. That's how my mind thinking about it.
No, but you're absolutely right. Like, would Big Boy have been would he have been a big artist without Andre? I would be willing to bet on him.
Yeah.
Would be. But would he be, revered like he is now? It would be, who knows? You know what I mean? If it wasn't Cass and, Andre being like the Jordan of his, of that. And yeah, you're right. Like Andre does move different than most hip hop artists. And historically, even whether it's, we talk about today or historically speaking, absolutely moves differently. What I have always wanted, and just, we have been robbed of it, you and I being such diehard Andre 3000 fans, is it Andre? I mean, we got the solo obviously with Love Below, but true solo Andre 3000 album. Like, how much does it drive you freaking bonkers when he jumps on like a James Blake album or like a Frank Ocean album and gives like a
phenomenal verse,
and then just is gone for 6 months? Or when he drops on like Andre Kid Cudi, or he gave oh
he
my
did
god,
Erykah Badu one song recently. Not too recently. He did Hello, that song with Erykah Badu.
Oh, yep. And he also gave Travis Scott one too.
Yeah, he did give Travis.
And what was one recent? Another. Oh, and then Anderson .Paak as well.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy. Like over the last few years, he comes in, he drops these unbelievable verses, and then it's just like, okay, bye.
Bye. See you guys later.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's horrible. It's horrible, and like kind of like, and like the thing is like this is like kind of my standard of it is like, I know I'll make it when I got on 2000 verse. That's how I live. Like everybody who gets one of those, it's just like it's a magical moment, because when you're sitting on the album, like even like, because I know on the Kid Cudi's what's that song, By Design. When it first dropped, like I didn't like the track, like didn't have who's the features on. Then you hear Andre, you're like, whoa, he's on this, and like it's like such an honor, you know what I mean?
But it's tracks on that album.
Yeah, and it's like Andre only, like kind of going back to the Rick Rubin interview, not to spoil it for you, but like he kind of mentions how he's like not in love with music, and it's that, yeah, you could tell, like he's like, I only make music when I'm really like feeling it, passion, and he's like, I'm not in love with it. The music he likes doing, bro. He said, oh, I like going out. I don't know, I forget what instrument he goes out with, and he just plays, and like random, he plays in Starbucks. He'll play like I don't know, it's not an oboe. Is it an oboe?
I think it's a wind instrument, isn't it?
Yeah, some type of wind instrument.
I don't know, not a clarinet, but I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. And like he just like, that's the type of music I enjoy doing right now. Yeah, no, definitely. Like he's like talented dude. It's just like, it pains me. It's like everybody wants like that solo album. You know what I mean? Like with that one, like if I'm not mistaken, it's like they weren't really getting along too well, so they just like, we'll just make half of it together. We'll just make this right. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's not like a real project. It's like a real solo. It's kind of like, oh, we don't like each other right now. We're just gonna do it.
And then they did that movie Idlewild, which was good. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but I have it on DVD just because I'm such a Outkast fan anyway. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, I literally have it over here. I'm not even kidding. But I'm that big of an Outkast fan. But I mean, like the movie's decent. It's just not. And the soundtrack's, but they didn't. Yeah, special. But they didn't really they weren't getting along at that point. But hey, every dynasty or whatever group, they, eventually it falls apart at some point. All good things must come to an end.
Yep.
I think this is actually a great time to bring up this question. Okay, I know that we're here. might as well. I usually save this for the end. There's one more thing I want to ask you after this, but I usually save this for the end. But your dream song scenario. Okay, I think I already have an idea of what you're gonna say now that we've had this conversation. But either way, you get to make a song. You know, any artist on it, any producer. Your dream, like I call it I ask every artist that comes on the show, I call it your dream scenario song. All right. So I'll structure it like this for you. It's your track. You get a verse, you get two guest verses, you get somebody to do the hook, and you got a producer or like two producers. Like some people come on, they cheat. They're like, I like Questlove drums and I want Pharrell and, to do the melody and, whatever. So I'll give you maybe two producers. So who's on the track? It can be dead or alive, retired or in the game. It doesn't matter. And I don't put you in the spot, so take as much time as you. So who is on that track?
So I know because I know for a fact this is gonna be a weird trick, but I want Tyler Creator to produce it, bro. I want Tyler Creator to make the production on that thing. Like feature wise, let me think. Shit, this is hard. Okay, feature wise, I'm about to go with Frank Ocean. No, for the hook, I want Frank Ocean. I want Frank Ocean on the hook just to be something like, because he doesn't come on just anything. It's just magical. And then features Andre 3000. That's the one verse is Andre 3000. The other verse probably be. Let me see. Probably. Let me think about the last verse. I'll give it to. Shit. I'll give it to who would I do? Then maybe like Old Dirty Bastard, just to be like just to bring it weird, bro. Just to bring it a little, because that's the one thing I like Old Dirty Bastard, because he just was so strange, bro. And just to give it that like weird temp, like okay, we got the I don't know how the song would sound, probably sound like a hot wreck, but it could come out really great. It could be something interesting.
It's your song. It can be whatever you want it to be, man. That's the whole point of the question. It can be literally whatever you want it. See, I'm actually very happy you didn't say Chance, because you don't want you and Chance on the same verse, because you might as well just have one of you do two verses on. Not really good.
I was like, because I was thinking, I'm like, yo, if I get Chance on here, so we're gonna have me half Chance versus a whole Chance, and then them like, is he gonna give me a Big Day verse, or is he gonna give me an acid rap verse? Is he gonna give me a 10? I'm like too much complication with him.
Yeah. He gets a contingencies. Like you can have the bridge or something like that, but you have to give me like acid rap Chance.
You got to bring it back there, buddy.
You got to bring it back. That was okay. So Heath240 featuring Frank Ocean, Andre 3000, and Old Dirty Bastard, produced by Tyler the Creator. What a song that would be. That would be something. Old Dirty Bastard back. I kind of like that. Because I think Tyler would love to work with Old Dirty Bastard. I feel like they would get along super well. I don't know why. I feel like they just have like a weird off, and they just like they would get in like a fake fight or something like that, like a fake verbal fight where they're just like saying obnoxious shit to each other. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but
I would love to see
that'd be crazy.
I would love to see. I always wanted to be like in the studio with Old Dirty Bastard, because I hear all the crazy stories and shit. I'm like, oh my god.
And of course, obviously Frank Ocean, like one of the best of all time, just in terms of as a singer, and obviously he's done so much with Andre and Tyler already. So there would I think that would come together, man. You get enough like-minded, people in that room, or working on that song. I think it would come out good.
Yeah, dude. That'd be the dream. That's the dream.
I love that, man. So last thing I want to ask you, and before I let you go, thank you again. Thank you so much for being here, bro. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. I want to talk to you a little bit about, you mentioned this a couple of times, like you admire people that are a little bit out there and weird. And you've said that about yourself. I'm even somebody that's mentioned that too. I'm very nerdy and weird with certain things, like music, obviously. And, basketball being another thing. Like I'm just very nerdy.
Yeah, I love basketball.
Just like a dumb amount of, you're a basketball guy?
No, not to the point where it's like not to the point where I'm like out of any sport I do watch basketball, but I'm not like a stat dude, bro. Like a lot of my friends, like all my friends like are really into basketball. I'm more of like the hot take guy who's gonna say something really inflammatory in the game, but like, what? How can you even say that? How? And I just partly do it to be funny, partly do it just cause.
Yeah, something along the lines of like, like you were like, oh yeah, Terry Rozier is better than Kemba Walker. We should have kept him or something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like, it's like whatever, dude. I know you're trolling me at this point, but keep going. What you were saying, my
No, but
guy.
anyway, so I just wanted to know, like, what is it? So it seems like you take pride in being like a weirdo,
Yeah.
essentially. And I think that get like that stigma or that like title, I think it gets a bad rap. I think it's a good thing. Even guys like Donald Glover, they've come out and said,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
I'm freaking weird, right? And these are some of like the most artistic people we know. So talk to me a little bit about like why, you first off like think you're weird and why you like you're very prideful about being open about that.
Yeah. So for me, so look, the weirdo thing is like for me, like I've always been like, so growing up in Boston and stuff like that, I grew up in the city, like there's like a certain stigma of like how, like a certain stigma of how like as a black dude I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you like everybody wants to like, even like I went to high school and like when I was going to high school in Boston, I somewhat got hemmed up and caught up into like that like bravado of trying to be like, yo, like what the fuck you about to do? Da, 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 let's go run and do some stupid stuff. Let's go hit a lick or something like that. Yeah, it's a tough guy, I'm asking to do. And like on the low, bro, like and like, but realistically, like I'm a kid who sat back, like I sat, like I know, like now it's kind of cliche, like oh I used to like anime, like I like anime and stuff like that. But like it's not like oh I used to like watch anime and I like it. I was like an anime nerd. Like I would buy the cosplays off the internet, wear the cosplays, go to conventions. Like I'm like I had pictures of me going to convention. I went all the way to Baltimore for an anime convention once.
No way. That's awesome.
Yes, dude. Like I'm like a hard like a lot of people now it's trendy to be like watching anime, and it's kind of like it hurts my soul because I remember when kids would be like, "You're weird. That's weird," and like people will crack mad jokes on me. But now it's like everybody's like to be trendy. It's like I'm gonna watch anime, and like I don't even watch anime that much anymore. But kind of going from there and kind of being like, hey, maybe that bravado's not on me. Maybe I like to skateboard when everybody else doesn't like to skateboard, even though I'm trash at skateboarding, but I did like it the first time. But maybe I'm like, while you got like a lot of people like who are my age who are really into like I don't know, they're really into like trap music and all that stuff. But I'm into like, oh, I'd rather sit down and listen to like somebody who else I really love, Childish Gambino. I listen to a camp, like you know what I mean? Like that's something like and like just get that nerdcore rap and going, you know what I mean? Kind of like oh, but like kind of going like that, like and I've always felt like I've been like oh, like as Earl Sweatshirt said in one of his songs, I forget which one. He goes, "I'm too white for the black kids and too no, I'm too black for the white kids and too white for the black kids," whatever it was.
That
But
was,
that was
yeah, that was, I want to say that was like, I don't like shit, I don't go outside or something like that. That was
yeah,
one of,
that's off one of those tracks on there. And like I always like when he said that, like it really stuck with me. I'm like, damn, that's how I really feel 95% of the time. And that's why I kind of gravitate to who I am. But then I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, it's like you can fake who you are. That's only gonna get you fucked up in trouble. Like I've been in so many situations where I pretended to be someone else and like not in a place like I'm not who I am, but like kind of like pretend to be like the tough guy and stuff like that. And it got me like situations where like things got hectic and like it could have been fatal type stuff, you know? And but it's like, yo, why not embrace who you actually are? Because that makes you more authentic and that makes you more relatable to, at the end of the day. It's like, damn, if people see like when you act like you're something you're not, it just comes across like forced. And it's like, why force it? Why even have the mental capacity to think so deeply into it where it's like I have to make up this stuff and I can't say what I really like. I have to like articulate what I think people like. Think I should like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a weirdo. Whatever, dude. And like everybody else, like Tyler Creator, Childish, Chance, anybody who I look Kid Cudi, even to a certain extent, you know, they'd be like, "Yo, I'm a weird dude," you know. But that's what makes it. That's to me, that's what makes them great, and that's what made them. Even Kevin Stretch to a certain extent, but that's what made those people so great to me because it's like they've just been authentically themselves.
absolutely. And hey, I mean, and that's something that you've preached in your own music, and
Yep.
so it makes total sense that that's where you're at, mentally, and like you said, I think it's going to take you a longer way than if you're just going to be gimmicky and try to be somebody you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that you've understood that and you figured that out at the age that you're at, because
Yeah.
it's going to take you so far, I think. And even if it doesn't, you're going to be able to look back and say, you know what, I was myself no matter what, and like I can
Mm-hmm.
hang my hat on that and and be satisfied with my effort, knowing that I didn't cop out, or I didn't sell out, really, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think
Exactly.
that's so important. And like, hey, this is the best time ever to be a weirdo. I mean, it's the most accepted as it ever has been, so why not embrace it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I totally understand where you're coming from and love the sentiment. I think it's important for anybody listening to this right now that they understand that you should be who you are. You can be a
Mm-hmm.
rapper and you can rap about, you know, anime and liking jazz music and, you know, and not being this hood dude. Like
Yep.
that aesthetic in rap is almost, it really, to be honest with you, it's the minority, if anything now. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't a long time, but in this day and age, it's still out there, but it's not what's popular, and it's definitely
No.
not what's being pushed at the moment. So no
Why?
point.
Yeah, why? Like, you know, it might get you like some like, I don't know, like it get you some hood credit, I guess. You know what I mean? But like, that's like, what is that gonna do for me at the end of the day? You know, it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna do anything to me. You know,
Right.
for me at least.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense, man, for sure. People, Heath240. If this time with him has not proven to you that you need to go check out this man's stuff, if you haven't already, this is proof in the pudding right here. Like, this man is here to stay, no doubt. And whether or not, wherever you end up, man, whether you ride it out in Boston or, you know, you end up in New York, either way, we not only wish you the best of luck, but we will be, you know, pushing you and promoting you from here on out. You are in our circle from here on out, bro. So
No,
seriously, legit.
thank you for having me on here. And what you're doing is a much needed voice in this local scene. And like, bro, what you're doing is only going to keep growing and growing and growing. And this is going to be something that I look back on and be like, wow, this was a special moment. Because it felt like, I'm not gonna lie, it felt really special to me. And I always gonna look back at this as be a special moment, bro. And like, I really appreciate it, bro. And what you're doing is really special, bro.
Yeah, that means a lot from you. Seriously, I really appreciate it.
I'm just telling the truth, dude.
Me too, man. For real, I love the honesty, and I appreciate you showing so much love and support for us, and taking the time, like I said. So, people, follow this man at Heath240 on Instagram. All right,
Yeah.
go check out Hometown Hero. Oh no, yeah, Hometown Hero, correct?
Yeah, the one's on here.
Spotify. That was his tape or his project from last year, from 2019.
Yeah.
Go run up Attention, man. That song is a killer. We will put that in the description for sure. It's on our bunch of lists as well. Make sure that you go you run up those streams for this man here, and it's a song that needs to be added to your summer playlist for sure. And look out for what's to come from Heath, you know, with a little maybe some EPs and visuals,
some small EPs, visuals. What I'll say, whatever. It's not like I'm like hiding anything, like, but it's gonna be called Baldy.
Okay, nice.
The Baldy trilogy.
Baldy trilogy. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Turntable exclusive. We can't wait to hear it, man, and push it. Heath240, everybody. Thank you so much. And I am Mike. Class is dismissed.
Yes.
I'm kidding.